What's good, fam? It's your boy Jay Growing with Jay, and we hanging in the garage today. We not in the garden. Reason being is because it's time to harvest some worm casting. I have been potting up some plants, and I used up all the worm castings I had harvested already. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest some, and I figure I'll bring the family along. So let me flip you around, show you what I'm working with. All right, here we go. This is a 27-gallon tote here. I got it doubled up. So the top one has holes drilled in it so that the excess can drain down into the bottom. Any water, excess moisture, whatever can drain down to the bottom. I'll show you what it looks like. And this is long overdue, family. Long overdue. It's probably been a good about 7-8 months since I've harvested it. And I normally don't keep it this full, but instead of harvesting, I would just add bedding or shredded leaves on top, and they would eat that up, and I just add some more. I've been feeding them on this side here, so you can see this is where they are hanging out at. So my hope is, and I haven't checked this yet, but my hope is that they're now all on this side. And then what I'll do is I'll come back through, and when I harvest this side here, as much as I can, I'll come back through and I'll fill it out with this bedding I had made. And I actually made this about, I want to say a month ago. And I've just been procrastinating with it. And what this is coconut coir. I like to use coir for my worm castings. But it's about 50% coconut coir, 50% shredded cardboard, like maybe 1 or 2 handfuls of rock dust, and then 1 or 2 handfuls of shredded leaves from my leaf mold pile. That's where you get these little stems and stuff like that in there. And I'll add a handful or 2 of crushed eggshells, and I might have to wet it a little bit because it's dry. Like I said, it's been about a month or so, and it's still a little damp, but it's pretty dried out. It's not as moist as I would like it. All right, so what I like to do when I harvest my worm castings is I like to use these barbecue baskets, these grilling baskets. And what I used to do is I would stick them in here, just kind of shake them up. And you see the castings come on through. Any big pieces, dump them back in there, break them up or whatever. So that's how I normally do it. But recently, I caught this on clearance. I think it was like $4. It's a barbecue basket. Has the top and the bottom, you can see. So I'm gonna try something different this year. So I'm gonna try to load this up and shake them up, baby. Shake them up, shake them up, shake them. Just to show you, I'll scoop a little bit in there. Trying to do this with one hand. Close them up. And then I can flip them all around. Shake them on up. And sometimes I'll do this like twice. But it's nice and fluffy. Like, so that white you see is probably eggshells. And I'll get a few worms in here. Probably a few worm eggs. It's not the most efficient process, but it works for me. That's like a piece of coconut coir there. But it works for me, family. I'm not looking for I'm not looking for perfection, is what I'm trying to say. So let me get this done. I'll harvest half of this bed. I never harvest everything at once. I normally don't try to harvest more than half. I may try to do a little more than half since it's so full. It's a lot fuller than I would normally like it. I would normally only keep it about at most halfway full. But this last, like I said, it's been 8 months since I harvested any. And let me harvest this. I'll show you what I got. I'll show you how I store it. Okay, family. Ran into a little snag, family. This is way too moist to really harvest it, get a good harvest. So I'm going to have to let it dry out some. I could probably harvest a little more than I did, but the basket worked well though for what I did get. It's just that the Vermicompost is too moist. You can see this was at the bottom here. You can see where the coconut core and that was all in the bottom. The coconut core, the shredded cardboard. So what I'm going to do is, I got this basket here. You can see the holes in it. This was my old compost bin I used to use. I still had the 27-gallon tote, same way, but it didn't have holes in the bottom. And I got this one with the holes in the bottom and did the double up method. I have another top here. Already has the holes in the top. So I'm going to mix some of this like super wet, moist stuff with some of my compost. I mean my bedding that I told you was already a little dry. So I'm going to mix some of this super wet stuff that's from the bottom. I'm going to make a whole nother bin. And I'll let this other one dry out some. And I'll continue to harvest this. I don't have any intentions on running 2 bins. I'll just keep it as one. So I'll get started on that, family, and then I'll get back at you and I'll show you what I got when I'm done. All right. Okay, despite being really moist, super wet, I was able to harvest some worm castings. Got a decent amount. Of worm castings. I split the worm bed to 2. This one here still has a lot of finished compost in it. If I dig down, you can see it's a lighter brown. That's that coconut coir. So I'll let this one dry out a little bit. There's still a lot of worms in here. So I'm gonna let this one go a little bit longer. I'm gonna rock with these 2 beds for a while. I just won't add any more bedding to this one. I'll let that finish out and I'll just keep harvesting from that one. And this is the newer one. And there are a ton of worms in here. They've started going in. I don't know if you can see. All right. All right, family. My phone is ringing. I'll holler. Okay, family. I'm back to give you an update on my worm beds. Notice I said worm beds, plural. So it looks like I'll be running 2 for a while, even though I didn't want to. But there's still a little more moisture than I want. The one that was super moist that I showed you in the beginning, I left it outside in the sun with the top off. Pretty much all day. It's been about 70 degrees or so. Nice sunny day. Dried out a lot. I was able to harvest more worm castings. So I got this 5-gallon bucket here. So I got holes drilled in the side to get some air in. And that's where I keep my worm castings. I'll probably put some shredded leaves on there for the little worms that got trapped in there. Some leaf mulch on top so they can have something to eat. And I'll run these 2 worm bins until I can harvest them down into 1 bin. That's it, family. Just want to give y'all that update. I'll holler.